The reason why lots of athletes struggle to run a better 400 is the same reason why lots of athletes went to the 400 in the first place. See, they get told, or they think, I haven't really got the torque or firepower to be a good sprinter. I do like running fast. I go to 400. Then add in a splash of better endurance than the average sprinter, it seems like a sweet fit. That's where the problems start. Preach! Testify! For most nearly every 400 metre runner out there, the easiest and best way to improve your 400 is to improve your 100 metres. To be honest, there aren't too many 100 metre sprinters just dripping in brutal speed who want to go the 400 metre route. Just check out Exhibit A. But if you considered that it was just that easy to, hey presto, improve your 100 metres, you probably wouldn't have considered the 400 metres in the first place. You see, there are two ways to improve your 400 metres. And always remember the first commandment brought down by Athletics Moses that states, as long as your biomechanics are not your biggest limiting factor, either speed endurance, so you take your speed and you hold it, or you increase your top speed so that it's easier to run at a percentage of it. And I personally reckon that 400 metres is built on great sprinting top speed. The observation made by Psycho 1 spot on. Track observation with a spectrum analysis. Running sub 55 400s, def a sub 12 100, and a sub 11 100, def a sub 50 second 400 metres. And I'd say that a good litmus test of a one-lapper is their flying 100 metre time. The 400 metres is a sustained sprint, so the faster you can sprint, the faster your sustained sprint will be. Let's break out Professor Maths. Don't know much about a science book. Think of it like a percentage, and let's use arbitrary figures. Let's say that you can sprint 90% of your top sprint speed over the 400 metres. The first thing this tells you is that if you want to run 48 seconds for a 400, that's 12 seconds per 100. And that means that you need to have a 10.8 second 100 metres in order to get 90% of that speed, which is 12 seconds, for your 400. And let's be fair about this. We're talking ballpark. It's not the case that if you've got a 10.91 seconds for 100 metres, that's the reason why you're not running 48 seconds for the 400. And also, if you Sydney sloth off the start, you need to factor that in. But that being said, you've got to account for the fact that if it takes you a country minute to get going in the 100 metres, it's going to take you even longer than that to get your speed on in the 400. Anyway, now this gives you some really useful information. Either you're going to look at this and think, I'm not running 10.8 for the 100, and so if I want to get to the magical 48 seconds for the 4, I need to increase my speed. That is neural. Or else you're thinking, I can run 10.8 for the 100, or even faster, but I can't run that 48 for the 4. That means you need to increase your endurance, and that is metabolic. To increase your neural sprinting ability, you could consider running anything from 85 to 110% of your top sprint speed and doing that for around about 4 to 8 second runs. To increase your metabolic ability, you need to do anything from 70 to 85% of your top sprint speed and do those runs for anything from 12 to maybe as much as 90 seconds. And this thinking is going to apply for any time that you want to run in the 400 metres. Now, you're wondering about this second stuff that I'm yakking about. I've put it into seconds because I want you to think about it differently. The body doesn't know distance. It only recognises time. The funny thing to me is that people are fixated on time. It's all about the time that they run, so that they can play top trumps and then work out their relative worth and value in the world of athletics. The only time that the time is important is the time that you do the effort for. Your body doesn't recognise distance, i.e., stand at the start of the 100 metres. The biochemical adaptation comes from the time that you do cross-referenced with the intensity of it, not the distance. You can basically sprint up and down on the spot and still get a biochemical change. Time is useful, but not to tell you your worth. Time is useful to judge which biochemical pathway you're going to use. And yet, running sessions are all written as distance prescriptions. Right, take the yellow pill, which is 6 times 200 meters, then take the green pill, which is 4 times 150s, before meals on an empty stomach. And Billy, don't mix with alcohol. So don't turn up to the session drunk! So to improve your 400 meters, first work out, are you fast enough in the 100 meters to take 90% of that time and then run that for 400 meters to get the time that you want. If you're not, then work on your speed. If you are, then work on your endurance at 90% of that speed. What you need to do is overcome the thought that you don't think you're fast enough to be a sprinter, so you're going to do the 400 meters instead. Better to think, I'm not fast as a sprinter, so I'm going to get fast as a sprinter, and then I'm going to kill the 400. 400 meters is not a slow sprint or a poor man's sprint. It's not even slower. You really need to come to the 400 meters with the same sprint speed capacity as an excellent 100 meter sprinter in your category, and then you just choose to cruise rather than floor it. I hope this helps. Bust me a thumbs up, because let me tell you something. Bustin' makes me feel good. Shout away in the yapping bay, unleash hell on the bell. If you like my vibe, please subscribe. Woo! Woo!